Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Welcome to number 6, episode 6. What are we calling these?
Episode 6, I guess. It's
Yeah.
join us for season 2. No.
What's a good episode 6? What's episode 6 of Star Wars? I guess that's Return of the Jedi. Is that right?
I would not
the
know.
last one of the first six. Okay, I don't count the last 3, like the most recent one. That's something else.
Yeah, I feel like there was A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. So this is our Return of the Jedi episode. Unfortunately, we skipped the Jar Jar Binks references in when we did episode 1. We could have yeah. All right. Good. How are you all?
Great. It's good news. It's Friday.
Hey.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Friday for us. Hopefully
Yeah,
Friday
yeah,
for you
we're-
if you're watching. Otherwise, it's probably pretty late on Thursday night. But thank you for joining us regardless.
Yeah, we have a few
Um,
folks in the comments already.
Oh, yeah, we've got comments. I am using Supabase, and this is a great example. Can you please share the code? Yes. I'm assuming this was from 2:39 p.m. No, that's only a little while ago. Yes, I can. Let me just.
Yeah, well, while John's doing that, where's everyone tuning in from today? We always like to see where people are joining us from and who has the most ridiculous hour that they're joining at.
Nils D says hi there. Hello.
Hello.
This is an unfamiliar name in the chat. I feel like you haven't joined us live, or maybe just haven't
Been commenting.
engaged in the comments. But yeah, Friday there too. So whereabouts in the world are you coming
Lovely.
to us from? And it's almost Friday in Canada. So yeah, you
Almost Friday.
just have to wait until after midnight, and then it's Friday, and you can celebrate like it's Friday. Nils is coming to us for the first time.
First time. Lovely. Thanks,
No,
Neil.
that's my buddy Jaden. What's up, Jaden?
You have
Jaden,
joined us for
Melbourne.
an earlier stream, haven't you?
Well, and John, if you come to the next Melb.js, which if anyone else here in the chat is from Melbourne, there's the first Melb.js back in a long time. Actually, Paul Copplestone, our CEO, is speaking there. So a quick shout out to that. Come down if you can. I'll definitely be there. John, who knows? It's a toss of the dice whether John will be able to make
it's a
it or not.
50%. We'll see how the kids are going on that day, and whether they've brought home another lovely sickness like they have for me at the moment. So sorry if I sound a little bit gross and a little bit sick. Just let us know if I'm offending you in the comments, and I'll stop talking, and these guys can
We'll
take
just
over.
ask Tyler to do the rest of the stream in Japanese, and we can just enjoy
Oh yeah, that would be
Yeah.
the
awesome.
ASMR experience.
That would be awesome. But yeah, if you are in Melbourne next week, special presentation from our CEO, Paul Copplestone at Melb.js. It's a big special event because usually he lives in Singapore or France or Spain or somewhere else in the world. So he just happens to be here. So yeah, come on out to that if you're in town, or just fly in if you're not. Tyler, we'll see you there.
Yeah, Tyler. Short notice.
Yeah.
And if you can't make it to Melb.js and still want to, see what the Supabase CEO is about, because he's in town last week's stream, we actually took a break from the Happy Chat application that we're building, and we did a bit of a interview / fun SQL tips. It was a good time, really. I made him go and get us beers at one point, which was probably ill-advised, but he was very good about it.
If you haven't seen that one, I highly recommend it. It got pretty complex, pretty deep on the Postgres / Supabase side of things. So if you want to pick up not just like a few little tips and tricks, but some very advanced tips and tricks, I recommend you go and check that one out.
It was great. Yeah, I was watching it. Yeah.
We've got good morning from India. So
Nice.
Shivadeep is joining us from India. Odhan has joined us many times and has got an IPA ready for happy hour, which is
Nice. I think I've got a Guinness today because it's so cold in Melbourne at the moment, and it's when it's cold, You can't beat a Guinness.
And I've got a nice cup of tea to make my
Sickness.
to try and make me feel better. Lots of lemongrass and ginger to kick the immune system into gear. Where are we up to? So Niles is coming from Georgia. Awesome. What time is it in Georgia? Pretty new to Supabase, but loving it so far.
It's gotta be close to midnight, right? Midnight or maybe 1 a.m. something like that.
Yeah, definitely not as convenient as a time as it is for us here in the APAC region. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
George, coming to us from Missouri in the USA. That's awesome. What time is it there? That would probably be, again
close to midnight. Yeah.
Jaden is going to be at Melb.js, so that's good. Anyone joining us now who just missed out, make sure you come to Melb.js next week, and you will definitely see Alaister, and you probably won't. Maybe we'll see me. We'll see how much Alaister twists my arm.
Yeah. I'll show up at your house, John, and be like, "Yeah, come in."
Yeah, you'll be like, "I'm here to pick you up." We're carpooling into Melb.js, so you can't say no now. Jonathan's joining us from New Zealand. That's awesome. Hopefully you caught our last week stream with Koppel, who is also from New Zealand. Lots of New Zealand banter last week.
Yeah, we won, didn't we, John?
We won the banter. Australia won the World Cup of web development. Are these live streams a place to ask questions? They certainly are. So this is something that the extra little secret benefit that people in the chat who join us live get is that you get a direct line to Supabase. And so you can ask any questions and we just basically have to answer them. So yeah, very good idea.
We can but try. We can try and answer questions.
We'll either answer it or we'll give you a swag and say sorry.
Yep.
Oh, it's only 9 a.m. there. So
yeah,
that's
really
a very reasonable time. Breakfast time. Are we talking US? Georgia in the US, or are we talking Georgia?
Oh, Georgia. Georgia is in like Europe. Oh, right.
It's funny. All the Americans go Georgia. Oh,
Georgia. Yeah. I was thinking like... Georgia State. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. Awesome. And yeah, all good. Not too late. Shout out from Malaysia. Awesome. So that's not a difficult time zone for you, thankfully. I think we're only about 2 hours out from Malaysia. I think you're probably maybe around the same time as Tyler.
Malaysia, maybe. Yeah. I'm tuning in from Japan, by the way. So
yeah, I forget that like these just aren't our normal friends who just hang out with us every week. People might not know who we are. People might be watching the archive stream and have no idea. Maybe we should quickly introduce ourselves.
I feel like we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, we should remember to do that probably each week. So my name's John. I'm a developer advocate at Supabase. And yeah, I get to, build cool courses and go on fun live streams with cool people like this and just build fun stuff with Supabase.
Nice. I guess we're going in order of the panels on the screen. So my name's Alaister. I'm not a DevRel at Supabase, but I seem to get onto the stream somehow.
We'll see how long I can get away with like just bringing you into DevRel for 2 hours a week every week.
Yeah. It's a highlight of the week for me. It's great fun. Get to come on stream and have some beers, hang out with everyone in chat. But yeah, I'm usually on the front end team or sometimes the storage team. If you can't tell, I move around a bit. I like to go and annoy as many teams as possible.
It either means that you're really good or really not good. You're on one side of that scale. Either you're getting moved around because, or you're getting moved around because we need you literally everywhere in Supabase.
I'll hope it's the I can't remember which one you said first. I hope
we'll find out on the stream.
Yeah.
I think it's the
Keep watching.
Keep watching. And yeah, I'm Tyler. I'm tuning in from Japan. I usually work on the Flutter related stuff, but I also enjoy, being on streams and occasionally play around with Next.js. So really enjoy these sessions. Amazing times.
Awesome.
Nice.
And we have some clarification that is Georgia the country,
not Georgia. Sorry, that was my fault.
And so I guess that means that we definitely owe you an answer to this question. So I want to allow whitelisted email addresses to use the sign up with magic link function. How would you approach this? Oh, that's interesting.
It's a good question. I think the way I would approach it is just using if you go, I think it was our first stream where we did the sign up trigger to insert into the Postgres function. And in that very same trigger, you could essentially do a check if the email is in a list of emails. You could either just statically put it in the function or store them in another table and look it up that way. Because if you throw an error in your trigger, Postgres runs it inside the entire transaction. So if that throws, it won't allow the user to be inserted. I'm not sure if there's a first party way to do that within Supabase at the moment, but the nice part about Supabase is it's just, Postgres really. So if you can't do something, chances are you can actually do it in Postgres.
We could also use the regex function to extract the domain and check against a certain whitelisted domain as well, right?
Yeah. So if you just want to do like a few email addresses or a domain, you can just use a check constraint with a regex. You're quite right, Tyler. That's probably my solution is probably if you've got a lot of like very different emails that you want to do. So you've got a wide variety of options. And I can't remember which email I'm reading the question. Video. We talked about the check constraints in.
Yeah, check constraints. We can show
second, third.
I was just
Episode
going to quickly.
4. Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to quickly bring up. This is what Alaister was referring to in terms of a trigger where we're creating a new public profile. So in that instance, would you? So when the user clicks the magic link, so they'd be able to enter in their email address, and then when they click sign in, it would send them a magic link email. So they'd still get the email, but then when they click the link in the email, that's where it would try to create the account in the auth.users table.
I think it actually creates the user when they enter their email. So when they entered their email, it would say, sorry, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we'll have to check with the auth team on that one where the user actually gets created. But off the top of my head, I think it's when they enter their email. So they'd enter their email and say, sorry, you're not on the whitelist.
Right. And then an example of... we did. Oh no, it was in the check constraints. This was in our snippets of. Oh, we've got so many snippets.
No, and we didn't name them.
Yeah.
Whoops.
We will find it. This one. So this would be an example of where you have a regex. So in this case, we're looking where the username, and then this is saying it does not match this regex string.
It was matching, but we were just demoing. It does not match. Oh, there, you copied it. There's the original one.
Yeah. So this one, we've altered the table to add that constraint. So only the usernames must match this constraint. So you could use something similar to run a regex during that trigger to see whether... Right. That's what you're saying, Tyler, is you could actually just create a check constraint. You wouldn't even need to create the function and the trigger, because you could just write a check constraint on the table.
If it's more like a pattern matching, but in this case, it sounds like he has many different emails that he want to check against. So maybe we should go with what Alaister was suggesting earlier.
Yeah, it depends. Well, I think it's much simpler. If say you just wanted to let you be the only one to log into your app, it would be much easier with a nice regex just to make sure it matches your email.
Or if you had like a collection of emails, like you could have here saying like this might not be valid here, but where the email is, you're gonna have to help me with this syntax here. I think it's not in, it's something, there's another keyword that's, anyway, basically you want to say in array of strings that's like Jon@supabase.com, and then maybe Jon@example.com.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that works in a check constraint, but that would certainly work in the trigger function. That's what I was imagining, yeah. But I think what you were looking for instead of in, if you're using an array there, it's any equals any, email equals any, and then around the array. Nice.
Something like this, right? So if it's any of these values, then that would work, which means you could then, I'm assuming, do a nested like select if you wanted to go and have
grab it from another table,
yeah,
but not
like
in
if
the
you
check. You definitely can't do that in a check.
not in the check
constraint.
constraint. So ignore this part, but you could write this part in a function. Let's pull this out, where you're checking where the email is in, and then you could select email from like your admins
or whitelisted emails or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
And then if you don't get it back in PGSQL, you can do raise exception, and then you just give it a string, and you can put an error message in there like not on whitelist or whatever you want to say.
That's cool. Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Cool. So hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, if anyone else has any questions like that in the chat, feel free to just chuck them in. It's fun to just kind of step through, like
real life situations.
How we would approach that without having to actually write it out properly and make the syntax work. We can just kind of hypothesize that this would probably work, and that's good enough. Are there any better ways to use Supabase with TypeScript? I tried the suggested method, but the VS Code suggestion doesn't seem to work. We are using TypeScript.
Yeah, if you haven't watched any of the previous streams, I think I make Jon do the TypeScript bits of it. Jon always complains.
Very much against my will.
We've been properly typing all of our Supabase code. And we haven't run into any issues with it. It works quite well, I find.
Yeah, like here, if we look at data, you can see that is a room, which is our type that we've declared here. So something that you may be missing there if you're not.
Do you want to bump up the font a bit?
Oh yeah, sorry. If that's not working in your editor properly, is that you may need to pass the type through to these templated functions. So where you can pass in the type of what you're expecting to get back.
Nice.
I love TypeScript as long as I'm pair programming with someone like you who can write all of my types for me 100% of the time. Then I love TypeScript. I get all of this like beneficial like helper suggestions and red lines where I've done the wrong thing. It's fantastic. It's just all the other part of TypeScript, the writing type.
Jon, you're secretly learning. It's all working. Soon I'll just sit here quietly.
If anything's not working out, you can always open an issue on our GitHub repo. Everything's open source, and we love to help out developers. So, if anything's not working out,
GitHub discussions is great as well. If you think it's a bug, open up an issue and we'll get right on it. If you're just having trouble with your own specific thing, go on our GitHub discussions page, and either someone from the Supabase team or the Supabase community will jump in and give you a hand. It's super great. There's heaps in there. Chances are someone's already asked the exact question that you're looking for. So go have a look through and
make sure you
never know. You might find what you're looking for.
You might find something in these, especially the ones that have answered. They would be the best ones to look at. Cool. And we have, it's 9:10 a.m. in Dubai. Joining us from Dubai. That's awesome.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, when I was coming back from the team offsite in Germany this year, I came through Dubai, and I just had the most amazing view of the Burj Khalifa coming through the plane window when we were taking off. It was awesome because it's like, so much taller than all the other buildings around it. It was epic.
Cool. Nice.
Not that I stayed in Dubai, but
Aiden has corrected me that it's Aiden, and I feel like you have corrected me before, not only on this stream but in other streams as well. So yeah, sorry about that.
Chances are you'll have to do it again.
I am terrible with the pronunciation of all of these, every name, but I'm trying. Please correct me if I get it wrong. Watermelon sound is soothing.
Is anybody eating watermelon?
I think watermelon is my new nickname, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go by watermelon now, if that's what you are talking about.
It is, Oh,
I
right.
think
Like
that's
Oh, the
maybe it
emoji,
just means
yeah.
like your voice is soothing. Like, hey,
well, I
that
think it's
watermelon
I
guy.
think it's my like nice microphone that you
Mm.
can't see because it's just off screen. But yeah, it's that's I'm going to say it's that and not my actual voice.
Colin is joining us from Thailand. I believe you've joined us for a couple of streams, Colin. So yeah, thanks for that. That's awesome. So
Many
Niels is
different
saying,
emails. Great.
right. So yeah,
the
in
next
that case,
question is a good one. That
is there a way to log in with username instead of email address? Yes, very interesting. Alaister, I'll give you the floor.
yeah. No, I was just thinking it's a very interesting question. Well, we are kind of using, if you go back and I don't know if you've watched the other streams, but we do have a username in our Happy Chat, but we're not using it to log in directly. Yeah, this is I'm actually not sure on this one.
think
I'm
it's
going to pass it on to Tyler. Hot
tough.
potato.
I feel like security wise, could we do it safe? Like upon registering, we certainly need an email address, so it's gonna be like a username, email address, and a password, right? And how would you log in using just the username and password?
I think
Supabase,
the
yeah.
only way that I could imagine doing it at
Mhm.
the moment, definitely go and create a GitHub discussion on this though, because I think it's an interesting use case.
Yeah.
I think you could do it because Supabase allows you to make custom JWTs. So you'd have to write your own login handler instead of using the one we provide, and issue your own JWT. But after that, once you have that JWT, it would work the same way as normal Supabase, I think. But yeah, it's a good question. Definitely go and create a discussion around that one.
Yeah.
There might be a solution out there, but none of us seem to know.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it hasn't come up before. Like I'm surprised I haven't yeah, like that does seem like a pretty
common use
standard
case,
thing you'd
yeah.
want to do, yeah. Is it easier to do RLS if I put user ID into all tables? It is easier if your row in that table relates to a particular user. Like if you want an RLS policy that only allows like users to see items that they created or something like that, then you would
feel
need
like
to.
generally you would not want to structure your table around how you would use RLS, right? You want to structure your table first, and then, or am I talking nonsense
No,
here?
I think you're
Yeah.
That's
definitely
a good
right.
call.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
want
like
to
your
structure your
policies are there to
table.
back up the structure
Yeah.
and like enforce the authorization rules on your database. It shouldn't be how you're designing your schema.
Yeah. If
I'd say.
certain data is sorry, go ahead, sir.
Oh no, well, it's just you'll know when to put a user ID on a row because that row will have a specific owner. Like if a particular user created that row and you want to track who owns that row, then it will probably have a user ID on it, as does our messages table, I think, John. It has a user ID or a profile ID, maybe we called it, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, and so this, the reason that we have this here is because each of those messages is owned by a particular person. Like when you're sending a message in a chat, that message belongs to a person. Whereas, I don't think it would be a good idea just to kind of copy and paste the username, the user ID value into a whole bunch of columns across your tables. But if you have, in the way that you've designed your schema, if you have records that belong to a particular person or a collection of people, then that's where you would use that foreign key relationship to the either the profile table in our case or auth.users if you were using that as your main source of truth for users.
Nice.
Great.
And yes, Aiden says that he hasn't caught the streams live, but we are Twitter friends. We go back a while, and always been there, liking my things, retweeting my things, sending lovely comments. And Colin was on all the streams, so there you go.
Wow. Message me, Colin, if you don't have some swag already.
Oh,
DM
yeah,
me
for
on
sure.
Twitter and I'll give you a code. because that's very cool that you've come to all of them.
Some dedication.
And if we say things like that's swaggable behavior, that's a swaggable comment, things like that, you need to DM us, because I tried to find a couple of people from earlier streams, and I have the codes. I want to give these t-shirts away. But yeah, you need to DM me and let me know. But now don't just DM me, everyone who wants free. I've made a big mistake here. All right, I'm gonna have to delete my Twitter account and start again. But yeah, thanks for joining us for all the streams. What is the correct way to allocate room for private chat? Could we store the room ID for all of the private chats or allocate a new one every time?
Keep watching. You'll find out.
Yeah. This very stream, we'll be doing a lot of stuff with our room. So in previous streams, we have basically built up this this system you see on the left here, this backend, which has messages, profiles, and different rooms. And yeah, in the last stream that we were doing Happy Chat stuff on, we had just implemented rooms. And so yeah, in this video, we're going to look at building out the UI for that. But yeah, we'll be talking a lot about rooms and users, and yeah, how to add a user to a room. So stay tuned. And we got Wembo again. Wembo's here.
Good old Wembo. We're going to yell at you this time,
every
Wembo.
stream. Always here until we run into a problem. No, not at all.
For those who don't know, Wenbo is one of the real-time engineers at Supabase, and Wenbo joins us for all the streams, and we unfortunately aren't very nice to him. No.
Make sure you
Thanks
DM
for
me.
coming, Wenbo.
Yeah. DM me and I'll send you some swag.
We love having you here.
And yeah, Aiden has some love for me and Supabase, which is good. Hendrik, what's stopping a user who can update a row from changing the user ID column to someone else's ID? Row level policies.
Level security.
Oh yeah, row level security. Sorry, policies enable actions, whereas row level security shuts everything down. So if you go back to, I think probably our first stream, maybe our second stream, we were talking about row level security, but just basically if you go to authentication, policies, and then you turn on, by default, at the moment, by default, this is disabled on tables. And so you'll need to come in here and say that you want to enable RLS. And then what that will do will deny by default all actions on that table. So you won't be able to insert, update, delete, or select from that table. And then if you want to do any of those actions, then you need to create a policy. So the fastest way to make a read-only database, so that, maybe you create the records in your Supabase dashboard, but then you want to enable access to select those from your web app. The fastest way to do that would be enable RLS for messages and then write a select policy that just returns true, and that will just enable that select action. But you should definitely think through a little bit more about who you want to be able to write data or update data or delete data in your database, before just writing a policy that says true for everything. Turn on RLS and write a policy for star, and then just return true and just basically disable RLS again.
Yeah, and even more specifically, specifically updating the user ID column, you can, in an update policy, you can check whether, there's two parts of an update policy. There's a using clause and a with check clause. And if you put in the with check clause, user ID equals auth.uid, that check runs after the update was applied. So if they did change the update column, it will recheck it that it's equal to the current user ID, and that check will fail. So it will not allow the update.
That is a smart way to explain the difference between the with check and whatever the other one is.
Using. I think using runs before and with check runs after. So we make this pretty good in the dashboard. It will tell you which one to use, but update is the only one that's a bit confusing because it has both.
Yeah, so you'll see if we have insert or select, we've only got one expression that we need to write, but if we do update, then it gives us two. It gives us using and with check. So you're saying using, this runs before.
It's a nice way to think about it. I always thought about as using is like the data that's in the database currently, and then with check is like the incoming data is the way I thought about it. But maybe it's slightly different.
No, I think that's a good way of thinking about it as well. Generally, I think most of the time you'll have both. Like I just, when I have using and with check, I just whack the same value in there. Like for both of those, I just say user ID equals auth.uid, and then I feel doubly protected, even though it's not really any different. So in this case, it would be profile ID equals, and that's equal to the current user ID. So that auth.uid function is provided by Supabase and is just pointing to the currently logged in user.
Yeah. So yeah, this would basically give you the exact policy you need to write if you wanted to make sure that a user wouldn't be able to update that column to point to a different user. But yeah, excellent question. I've been waiting for swag since it came out. You're the third Supabase that's promised me swag, and I still haven't gotten it yet.
Well,
who's the first and second, by the way?
my Twitter is Alaister Young, at Alaister Young, spelled the same way as my name on stream. So DM me, and I will give you a swag code right after this stream. There you go, and then you can go onto the swag store and order some with that code.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Definitely DM us.
My DMs are open, I should say.
Maybe you could put this runs before / runs after on the left side in the description for each. That's a very good suggestion. We have a wonderful specialist working for us in the front end team who has direct access to change the copy on the dashboard.
Well, I'll have to make sure that mental model is quite right before I do that. But luckily, we do have a lot of Postgres experts that work at Supabase, so I can get a more exact definition. But yeah, it's something that I should say our whole RLS editor, we do have lots of improvements planned for, because it can be quite a confusing section of building an app. And it's also a very important section of building an app. You want your security to be correct. So we're going to make a lot of changes to the RLS editor and make it super slick.
Awesome.
No pun intended.
That's SUPA slick, right?
Yep.
Just got to clarify that every time. Cool. And so, yeah, I guess now that we have this open, we can talk through a little bit of the structure of our database and what we've built so far. So obviously, like, we're building, well, if you haven't joined us before, we're building a chat application. Actually, we should do that every time as well for this series that we're building out, Happy Chat. So we are building a real-time chat application called Happy Chat. It looks beautiful. If you haven't seen the color scheme, it looks something like this. And we got some pink there too. It's beautiful.
You're not logged in as usual.
Yeah. I got to guess Thor's password again. Oh well. And so we have a real-time chat application. And our goal for this series of streams was to build out a Supabase backend that can basically serve multiple platforms. So right now we're building an XJS application, which is what you're seeing there, this first version of Happy Chat. And then we will look at building a Flutter application. I promise we'll get to it, Tyler. Okay, we'll definitely get to
Next
it.
Season 2, it's going to be season 2.
Every week we talk about this, like, we will get to Flutter, definitely. Tyler's definitely our expert on Flutter and Dart, so he's gonna teach Alaister and I a thing or two about that. But yes, we want to at least implement our Next.js app first, so we know that we've got all of the features there that we want to support, and then the idea is that we want to be able to build a Flutter application without changing any of the Supabase backend. So we want to see whether we can build one backend that can serve multiple platforms, and not need to write any kind of specific logic for either of those in Supabase itself. So we'll see how we go with that. So we have our messages, and each message belongs to a person. So it links to a profile, and now belongs to a particular room. And so we've implemented this concept of rooms, and so you can create a private channel, and then the person who created that channel we should have just done an owner that they own the channel. Oh, that's right. No, because we wanted everyone to be able to to
And
invite
anybody,
people
yeah.
to the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's we used an RPC function to both insert the room and the room participant at the same time. So when you create a room, you get created into that in that room. Yep.
Yeah. And then, you would be able to invite other people. So if you wanted just a direct message kind of chat with one person, then you would just invite one person to that. And then you've got yourself a little DM situation. But if you wanted to create a private room that could have multiple people, you just invite them all in there. And it's a group chat for anyone that has been invited. And I guess I don't know if we'll get to this point, but if we wanted to extend this a little bit, we could create public rooms as well. So anyone who opens up Happy Chat could just go to like a public broadcast to everyone kind of room, and then have their private rooms that they can be a part of if they've been invited, or they could create their own room. And you don't have to invite anyone else to your room. You can have a room and sit by yourself talking to yourself.
Talk to yourself.
Yeah, definitely fine. And so in our Happy Chat application, if we sign in, so this is one of the things that this is one of the things that I want to build in this stream, is actually building the auth flow for this nicely so that you don't need to guess that you need to go to /login or /register to create an account. And I think, if I remember,
we could even make the color scheme of the login page match the main app, because I think this doesn't look as nice at the moment.
Yeah,
not nearly as nice.
That's true.
That is true.
And invalid credentials.
I don't know why you don't just save the password, John. Every week.
That's what that thing that keeps popping up says. That I just it doesn't even register in my mind. I just
click it away.
I just click no every time.
That's great.
I could definitely solve this problem. So we have our Happy Chat. Like obviously this looks terrible, but and doesn't really tell you what you're doing at all. And this join the classic room is a button that doesn't look like a button. But anyway, if you click this new room, that's going to create a new room, and then it's going to move you into it. So then if we were to look in our backend here and refresh our rooms,
there's Johnny in chat who's saying make it all pink. And for those that don't know, Johnny kind of does most of the design at Supabase. So if Johnny said it, now we have to do it. Them's the rules.
Johnny caught me in the Figma file. We have a shared Figma file where I was creating the thumbnail for this video. And he caught me trying to put the Happy Chat UI into the thumbnail. And yeah, he wouldn't let it slide. So
that's great.
We almost got there. Next time. I'll wait till he's offline. I'm assuming this one at the bottom is the one that we just created, probably. And if I
is it?
I guess write a message, maybe.
It says May 20th.
It's probably not it then. Application error. A client-side exception occurred. See the browser console for more details. Our browser console is saying e.profile is...
we're going to fix this first, I think. This is the... well, I think you've left Johnny on the screen, by the way. It's really hammering the message home. But at the moment, at the end of last stream, we did a little hack to get the profiles to come through on real-time messages by creating a local user cache. But Tyler suggested a much nicer solution where we actually fetched them from the user cache within the components. So I don't know if you want to take us through that, Tyler, if you can remember where we were from 2 weeks ago.
Let's see. So what we were doing is we have what do we name it? Profiles or something? Profile cache.
It was
or
on
something
in the
there.
chat room page, I think. Rooms ID.
Okay, so that was creating a room. Oh, actually, hang on.
Up there.
Because I think...
Or was it in the component? The messages component?
Well, I was just going to point out that, we created this RPC function. So a Postgres function that we called create room. That called that. And then once we had the room ID, would forward us to that. And so the reason that we needed to do it this way was because we needed to insert the user into that room, which is what this RPC function does. This create room Postgres function inserts the user who created the room into the room. So then when we navigate to it, they are actually in it, because our row level policy only enables people to be able to see the rooms and the messages in the rooms for rooms that they are currently in. All right.
Okay, so yeah, I think it was in the messages component, wasn't it? Or is it here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go to messages component, there should be a variable somewhere. Yeah, profiles cache line 19. So this, unfortunately, it's typed as any, but we just wanted to get something up and running quick. But this pretty much will be a key value store where the key would be the user ID of the user, and the value would be the profile data of each user's profile that has posted anything within Happy Chat. Yeah. So the idea is we got this, and then as we load the messages, if we find someone who's not in the cache as we load the data, we will go ahead and fetch that profile data as they come in and add them to the profiles cache. So we're going to do this in both the initial fetch as well as the real-time data stream. And how far do we get
We got up to that big to do.
Right. Add user. Right. Okay. So yeah, the direction that I wanted to go with, and this is how I typically create a chat app, is we want to show the data as much as we can to the user. So the idea is, even if we don't have the profile data of a newly inserted chat object, we can still show the chat message, and then as we load the profile data in the background, eventually we can show the profile data as they become available, so that I think that's just better user experience, just showing things as they come in instead of just waiting for everything to come and then show it to the user. So we want to show the chat right away, and then we want to show like a loading thing, or I don't know, blank profile image or something, and then once we get the actual profile, we can show the username or something.
Cool. So I think, yeah. So I think this to do is what is causing this error, isn't it? Because it's saying that we don't have a profile yet. So I think that's up in get data, because we're grabbing the data, we're mapping over each one, and then we're saying that for each profile. Oh, actually, no. This is.
I think the other issue is we might have multiple profile caches because it's in the component level. I think maybe we should move it into a React context or something at the very least. Or if we want to include another library, maybe a global store.
That's gonna make it over. I feel like we're never gonna get to Flutter stuff if we start doing that stuff.
Tyler's like, no.
Let's just put it in the state for this.
We need to
component.
get to Flutter.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. We can just refetch it every time. That's fine.
Yeah. I think it's fine to store it at the room level. So yeah, let's just make it state. Right
you mean
here.
Put it in here?
Yeah. And we can make it a state even, I think, where we have to. So instead of having like a variable, do we need to do that?
Yeah, I think so. Because otherwise,
I think so,
React's not going to know to re-render when we update those profiles. We're still going with any. We did that just for speed. We could take the time to properly type it now.
Let's do it. Let's properly type it. So each one has a. So this will be a cache type, maybe a profile cache. And so how do you type?
So you do some square brackets, and then you do the name like a So, but you need to name the key. So you could just call it ID. Yeah, user ID. That's the most descriptive name. And then a colon. And then after the square brackets, another colon. Then you tell it what type that's going to be. So I think if you scroll up just a touch, there's it's an ID string and a username string. Yeah.
Oh, we don't have a profile type. Okay.
Well, actually, no, we just pull it out of the message, but we could just leave it in there and reference it directly if you want to do this is more correct, I suppose.
It's up to you.
Nice.
What's gonna make you happier?
Let's do this. We got
this one's gonna make me happier.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this out and we're gonna call this a profile now. And then this is going to be what our profile is. So it's an ID and a username, which means down here we can say that this is going to link to a profile.
Beauty.
Awesome.
Look at me go. I can type.
You can TypeScript.
Should this not be unhappy that we're not giving it anything when this is saying that it
I think
should
initially
have
it can be a
An empty object. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you'll want to put an empty object in there.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
Nice.
Great. Okay.
Sweet. So now we have a profile cache. And so then here, instead of doing this, are we going to wait? Yeah. So
I think that bit's all right because, you're right. The set thing. No, you're quite right. I was thinking you were going to blow away all of that code, but no, because this is like the pre-fill of the cache. So then we'll do, I'm assuming, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the like the message component, maybe we'll make a new component. And then if it doesn't exist in the profile cache, we'll go and fetch it and update the cache.
Yep, exactly.
What do I want to set this to? So I want an object, and we want to spread in profile cache, and then
don't we have to get the current value? So it'll be a function inside set profile cache. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So then we want to return. Oh, that's not going to work. Need one of these.
More parens.
More parens. Always more parens. We want to spread in the current cache, and then we want to, I guess, essentially do this, right? And then, actually use the correct syntax. All right.
The only thing is that's going to set like a bunch of times. So we're going to re-render, like if we have 50 different profiles coming down, we're going to call for each. So what I think we want to do is build an object in the if before the data.map, if we just set up like a local variable, and then we keep the code that we wanted there, and then essentially after the for each call that set profile cache with the .current thing, and then also ... profile cache.
Profile cache. We're keeping a cache of the profile caches to cache.
Yeah, why not? Who cares?
Profiles to cache. How about that?
Oh yeah,
or new profiles, or I don't know what they are. Who cares?
New profiles. All right. So we're mapping over each message. We're pulling out the message.profile, and then for each. Well, couldn't we just say, because that's all we're doing here, right?
We actually wanted the old code we had instead of no, it's still the but instead of the set profile cache in there, we just want to update that old object.
But all we're doing is
you want to do a map? Sure, we can do a reduce.
Do we even need to reduce? Aren't we just mapping? Because we're
making an object.
We're making an object instead of array. So yeah.
But let's do it. We're doing it functional now, John. You've got me on an idea. So let's do that first same map.
All right. So we're going to map over each message, and then in here, what do we want to do?
Let's just return the message exactly the same as the first one. We'll do it in a couple to keep it.
And then we're going to reduce.
No, we're not going to reduce. We're going to do something cooler.
Ooh.
Because reduce gets a bit. Yeah. And then we'll do another map, right? And that's going to take a profile now. And then we'll return an array where the first index is profile.id and the second index is the profile. Any guesses yet?
And then we can destructure.
No. We're going cooler still, John.
Oh,
I'm still not getting it. I'm still not getting it.
And then around that whole like data both maps, you call object.from entries, and that will convert an array of arrays to an object.
That's awesome. We used this with form data before, I believe.
We certainly did.
Then we can destructure.
Well, we don't need to destructure now because we're going to destructure. No, because we're going to do ... now. So we're now going to call set current profiles or set profile cache ... current and then ... new profiles.
course we are. Set profile cache, and that's going to get current. And then we want to spread in. Oh yeah, we can't do that again.
More parens needed.
That's going to spread in current, and then we're also going to spread in new profiles, right?
Wow, that's
Yep.
sweet.
Clean.
Nice. I like it. That's actually very, very clean.
Object
And we didn't
from
have to use a
entries.
reduce.
That's always,
It's always
a benefit.
nice.
That is always
Yeah.
a plus.
Reduce always confuses me. Like I still haven't got a hold of it.
It's great once you get your head around it, but I try and I think this is cleaner because it's just like
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
George called it as well. You could use a map string profile. I think that's
different map. That's like the map
okay.
type.
Yeah, that's a big
in
map.
TypeScript. Which no, it's like it's just a wrap around the object syntax, I think.
Right.
Or
Looks like
there's
Dart.
also yeah.
Looks like Dart. We'll see a lot of these in Dart.
If you
Flutter,
say so, Tyler.
if we ever get to it.
Yeah, Tyler, you've got to be the speed police now. John, go faster. Type quicker.
Join us next year for our Flutter application. Cool. So we don't need any of this anymore. And then we're just setting our messages to be data. So that's all good.
Should be good.
Cool. So then we have our profiles cache. So then down in messages, that should still work.
We can just set the profile, I think, to null. Or payload.new.profile. Yeah, that's not going to... Well, no, actually, that's fine because it will set it to undefined. And then, Tyler, were you planning to split out another message component? And if the profile was undefined, search for the new profile and then update the cache?
Yeah, exactly. So for...
Actually, it would probably make more sense to delete like this here.
Or what if we do this? What if we make the profile of the message object optional? Let's make that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
so
that's the way to do it.
Optional. Yeah. So if we scroll all the way up, we can the message. Yep. So we can, or we may or may not have a profile. So question, right there. So yeah, and if we do have a profile,
being red. Good.
If we do have a profile, we can show the user ID or username right away. If we don't, we can show like a loading text for now. And it's creating a lot of...
Do we want to fix this up?
Yeah, we can fix this up. So we can just add in between those two maps.
The red's no red anymore.
I mean, it works,
filter.
but it's not 100%. Yeah, filter. Tyler's quite right. And I'll give you another handy trick. You can just write filter Boolean, capital B Boolean, which is super handy. And then, which basically passes it to the Boolean constructor because we've got a profile. We've either got a profile or we got undefined. So that's just going to return a truthy value. So now TypeScript isn't going to be playing ball here. So but we've done the check, right? We know there's a profile now. There's nowhere there's not going to be. So after profile, we can just put an exclamation mark before the period.
So this is us saying, hey, TypeScript, shut up.
You're an idiot. Yeah.
There'll be a profile.
I mean, there's probably a better way of doing it, but I don't think profile, like the filter Boolean, is understood by TypeScript. I'll throw this one out to the chat. How would you solve this?
If we wrote this longer and we just said profile, and then we said,
I really don't think TypeScript is smart enough to understand it. Yeah, it's good to write it out anyway because that's what the Boolean is doing. Essentially, it's just a short, handy trick.
Wow.
We'll keep the short handy trick.
Yeah, and then I think when the exclamation marks after both, because that will get rid of the second error. Yep.
All right. Cool. So any, and if any doesn't work, exclamation mark. I'm learning TypeScript. Week by week, I'm getting better.
We're just telling TypeScript who's boss, but yeah, I'd be interested to see what other solutions people come up with.
Yeah. Anyone have anything cool in the chat?
Helps
Johnny, I feel like this is right up your alley.
And then I think we can remove where we set the profile in
The real-time listener.
In the real-time listener, because we'll just pass it through to a component, right?
Yep. Do we need a separate component? I feel like we can just take care of it within...
we can take care of it.
Yeah.
Although I think it'll
Shouldn't
be
be
easier
bad.
in a separate component, because then we can write another use effect and like watch on the prop that we pass in, versus doing that logic with if statements. So yeah, John, you can just replace payload.new, all that ... with payload.new, that whole object. Current, comma, payload new. Yeah.
Boom. Cool.
Great.
So we're just adding the new one here. And then as a separate step, we would be requesting the profile if the profile doesn't exist in the cache.
Yep. So we'll do that within a message component, I reckon.
Cool.
Kill the to-do. We're doing the to-do.
All right. The to-do stays. Okay, cool. So now down in our component, so we have message.profile. Username is not happy because profile may be undefined. So
can you split that li into another component, please?
This whole one?
Yes, please. That is a dad joke if ever I've seen one, John.
So this one is going to be an individual message.
Correct.
And we're going to pass it through a prop of the message that we have. And then we would need to actually create this. So
we can just do it. Yeah, let's just do it in line instead of an import, because we've got all of our types here and it's going to be a very small. We can do it under the types list so we can actually reference them, although I don't think it matters. So never mind.
We'll keep it clean. We'll have our types, then we'll have our component declarations. And we don't actually need to export it, do we? Because we are using it in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. No, my li. All right. Nobody press anything other than command
undo
Z,
and then redo.
And really hope we don't accidentally press anything.
You're watching a bunch of professional developers in action here.
Live coding. For sure.
Live coding, yeah.
All right. And now, if we undo that one and dump this one in.
Nice. Like it never happened.
Like it never ever happened. So now in here, we want a use effect, I'm guessing.
Let's, type our message properly, though, just so it makes it easier for us.
All right. And I can't do this, can I?
You can't do that. It has to be a whole other object.
Whole other object of mess.
And then you're so close.
Yes.
Oh, no, I know. All right, I got this. All right.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
Excellent. Cool. So now our message will have some nice, type checking. Cool. So we don't have a user ID, and so we need to pass that into our message as well, I guess.
And we'll also pass in the profile as a prop, I reckon, but from the user, we look it up from the user cache.
Profile cache of message dot profile dot ID.
Profile underscore ID, because we might not have a profile. We can actually delete that type entirely, I think. The profile on the message, because if we'll pass it in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's actually nice that they're very separated now. Feels nice. This is much better than our hacky solution last week.
But are we using that here?
Oh, yeah, we are using it there, so let's leave it as optional.
Oh, yeah.
I take it all back.
Cool.
Okay.
Now we would be getting... Oh, sorry, did I actually pass those through? So user ID and profile from profile cache, profile ID. Cool. So then in here, we would be getting a profile... And it's late. It's late in the day. It's like...
Isn't it profile?
4 p.m.
Yeah, profile and user ID.
That's why though we chose to do these streams on a Friday, Jon, because it's like we thought that's the when we're at our
thought that would
best,
be
right?
easier. So our ID is going to be a string, and then our profile is going to be a profile.
But it's make sure it's optional here because we may or may not have it.
Then we would want to use effect to check if we don't have a profile that we want to go fetch it from Supabase.
Nice.
How do we call? Is there a way to call set state from within this message component though?
Absolutely. We can just pass through the setter function as a prop.
Okay.
Or we
Yes.
can wrap it up in a method of our own and say,
Nice.
whatever we want to set profile or add profile. But I think we'll just pass through the.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I guess we want to have a separate async function. So fetch profile, which is an async function. And in here we can await Supabase start from profiles.
Probably makes sense.
We probably want to select
I think we
all of
just
them.
need the ID and the username for to satisfy our type, right?
Yep.
And it's a good idea to always
Properly type it.
Oh, not just to properly
Oh,
type it.
no?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, using TypeScript. Yeah, okay, TypeScript.
Okay.
But
Where clause? That's what you're going for, right, Jon?
yeah, if we're only
Oh,
using,
okay.
if we're only using an ID and a username, there's no point fetching all of the columns from Supabase. Like we're sending all of that data back across the wire. So it's much more efficient to just scope this down to just the ID and the username that we want to get back. So here we would get our data.
Don't forget the where clause, though, Jon.
Yeah.
After I was just yelling.
And we can type it even.
And we
Select.
want to match the profile.
I think it's just called ID because we're on
ID,
the. So maybe
With
it's
our user ID.
yeah. Not user. Your user ID is your own ID, right?
Isn't this user
So
ID coming in from? Oh, right.
Shouldn't
okay.
it be
Message
message.profile ID?
Yes.
Yep.
Sweet.
Do we want to add a type after select?
Yes. After select, or do we do it on?
From. Sorry.
After from.
Yeah, after from. Sorry.
And we're expecting to get back a profile.
That's good. It's good we split out that profile type. Hey, it worked out.
Yeah. Worked out.
Yeah, we would have been digging into that type a few times. I'm assuming that's the alternative, right? You could
That
say
is the alternative, yeah.
profile, and it will go and look up the type that's set to. Cool. Okay. So now, if we don't have a profile, we want to call that fetch profile function.
Yep. And then the last thing you need to do, I think, is include the things in your dependency array.
Do we want to add single as well, so that we will get a single object instead of an array?
That's my Tyler's on it a moment for the stream.
He's on it. And as I found out last time, we do need to put this limit 1 because otherwise it does actually do like it. Yeah.
Well,
it still does the select.
If we know for sure that we're only getting one data back, then it shouldn't matter, right? But yeah, I guess it is a good practice, maybe.
Yeah, in this case, it doesn't matter because there's a unique constraint on the ID column, and we're matching on the ID column, so we're either going to get 1 or nothing.
Get out of here, extra line. We don't need you. All right.
But yes, if you're there possibly could be multiple results in using .single, do use a limit 1. Otherwise, you're going to get an error, and it's not going to be fun.
So we also need a way to actually update our app to say that something has changed, right? So it re-renders. So we need to pass down our, well, I guess just our cache.
Yep.
And so down here, we can pass in that. Although won't our Oh wait, no, because it'll re-render and it'll be pulling that out of there and passing through the profile.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Why is user ID yelling at us there?
Because
we need to make it optional as well.
Oh.
No, this one.
Yep.
Should user ID be optional though? Should you be able to come to this page without logging in?
Well, where are we actually getting the user ID from? Where's
Good
it coming
question.
from?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Yep. Just here.
Mm.
So
What were we using that for?
we were using it to check if it was your own message or not.
That's right. Yeah,
Right,
to see
right.
if we want to.
Actually, you know what might be nicer is if we, instead of passing that as a prop, we'd literally just call that user ID in the function. We're not using it anywhere else, right?
Mm.
Good call. Question everything. Don't just accept props from anywhere without confirming you need these props first. Now
we need to type our set function.
Yes, and we need to actually pass that in, don't we? It's gone. All right.
Yeah, the clipboard thing.
I need to sort that out. I always want to set up a multiple clipboard thing, and I just never do it.
Same here, totally. I always think about it, never do it.
Yeah, I always like when I'm recording like a tutorial video or something like that. Like I always just end up like going and copying the other value and then pasting it across, and then just like editing out that chunk so it looks like I was using a clipboard, like a multiple clipboard the whole time. All right, what's your?
No, what I'd do is I would look at the hover over the type of the setter in the use state, and then just copy whatever's in there. I think it's React dispatch something or other, but yeah, whatever. That's it. Beauty.
Nice.
Sometimes VS Code doesn't show you the whole type if it's a big one. It's super annoying because you have to actually go and work out what it is then. And you'll need to import those two from React.
You just hit command dot. You can hit command dot, I think. You can go down to the headline.
On the other one.
Yeah, go down to where the arrow's happening.
Command dot.
Oh, yeah.
Update import
Super
from
small,
React.
Yay.
Look at that. Beautiful. All right. Cool. So now we've got that. And then we just need to use this. So after we get back our profile, we can say set profile cache to be...
We might need an if data as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, good call. So we actually have data, and we want to call set profile cache. We get the current cache.
Extra parens every time.
And when we have our extra params, we want to spread in current. And then we want a new object. Well, I guess we can just do
square brackets.
What am I doing? Data.id. And then we want that set to profile, data.profile.
Just data, because it is a profile.
That's true.
Sweet.
And then you've got to still put in the dependency array, the profile.
All right. What do you want in your dependency array?
I think profile and message.profile ID are our dependencies.
Profile.
And we don't have the linter set up, but it would be yelling at us for not putting in the set profile cache function as well. But in this case, it is stable because React state setters are stable.
Cool. So we wanted to...
I'm going to pretend to understand that, as well.
Our message as well? Was that it? Just our profile and our message?
Let's do message.profile ID.
Okay, so just that.
Nice. That's it.
Cool.
And then I think Tyler, how are you planning on doing the loading state? Just some loading text
Yeah,
if there
let's
wasn't
just
a profile?
yeah, I think that's the simplest way. And
Great.
I don't want to waste any more time, so
Doesn't want to push Flutter back even further.
Tyler's like, I want to do Flutter. I've been here for like 6 weeks.
no, I enjoy web
could
development. It's
we-
always fun.
Could we do something funky like this and say either it's going to be that or it's going to be something like
Loading ...
Yeah.
Perfect. I think you need a question mark after the profile and then you're golden.
Should be, yeah. Beautiful.
right? Yes, because we might not have the username. Oh, sorry, we might not have the profile, and so if we try to dig into username, we'll get our lovely friend dot username is undefined or is not a property of undefined or whatever. Sick. And also I used this little nullish coalescing, I think it is, which is just like a shorthand for actually no, it's kind of like or, but or is any
Falsy
falsy
values as
value.
well.
So if you had like 0 or an empty string, I forget which one's a falsy. I don't know.
That's falsy.
but
Those
this-
are both falsy. Well done.
Yeah. This is only null or undefined. So if this value is explicitly null or undefined, and then the other thing is that this is kind of like a shorthand for like a ternary where we say if this exists, then we want to set it to this. Otherwise, we want to set it to that. So this is essentially what we're doing. We're using this side to check whether this exists. If it does, then we want to set it to that value. If it doesn't, then we want to set it to that value. But yeah, we can use nullish coalescing to
Beautiful.
do that in a shorter way. Cool.
Let's
test. Yeah, we haven't actually we probably should have been showing what we were actually doing as we were building this out. I feel like we just wrote a whole lot of code that was very confusing for anyone that
I feel like it's
hasn't
gonna be
been
hard to
watching.
test though, isn't it? Like we have to join a chat room, then we have to have someone join a chat
have to be
room
able to
after
invite
we.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
what we'll do is we'll just assume it worked and then build the add person to room functionality and then really test it. But
Yeah,
John,
yeah.
you're on the prod site right now. You need to run the dev server.
You guys are so good. I'm glad you're here. And that means we need to run the server. I always have such high hopes before we hit record. I'm always like, man, we're gonna get through all the stuff, everything we want to go through, easy. And then
Tyler's like, there's going to be another 6 weeks of
Yeah, that's right.
Next.js.
Like this was just the extra to do that we added 2 weeks ago to just fix up quickly at the start of the stream, and we're now
Initial plan
an hour and 20
was
minutes into the stream.
Yeah, initial plan we had was like from like episode 3 or 4, it was gonna be Flutter, right? I think.
Yeah, I think after episode 3 we were going to like episode 4
Yeah.
was going to
Yeah.
be Flutter.
Yeah.
So we've doubled what we were. And I think
Sounds like
let's just go
actual
to the
development.
classic room.
Yeah.
Actual development. You're quite right. Time estimates. It's like, oh, how long is it going to take? Oh, not long. We'll have it done in a month. And then like, a year later. But all the usernames have loaded in there.
Great.
There you go. I'm currently
Beautiful.
loading. So something's not right because I should be in the cache. Right?
Yeah. Oh, there is a bug. I'm also loading. I said, which is nice.
So
You want to zoom on this one as well, John?
Yeah.
Just because it's quite difficult to see.
Look how responsive our beautiful chat app is.
Wow.
Cool. Okay, so we got a bug, which is good. Because otherwise we would have just written a whole bunch of code that probably not too many people would have understood what we were actually doing if they're not, very fresh on what we were working on last week. 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to check what our message looks like here.
And also the profile is probably a good idea. So the error was when I sent a message. Or you sent a message as well, loading.
Okay, so this is our hi. And so we have a message.
I'm making it difficult for you by
No
saying
one
test.
write messages. Oh, we rendered this a few times, huh? Oh, maybe I just closed it. No, we just render it a million times. Seems like something's probably wrong there too. Never mind. So we have a profile ID, we have a room ID, and then we have a profile, which is Thor. And that ID links to our profile ID for the message.
Yeah, let's take a look at the code again.
Is this because we don't have? Yeah, we don't have a profile here. We've got a. Shouldn't this be what? Where's our profile coming from? Oh man, I'm so confused about what's going on now. So that's what's passed in for our message. So that's the profile of the current message. So that's what we should be looking at here, right?
Oh, that's right. We're just saying profile instead of message.profile.
Oh, yeah.
That's the bug. Well done, John. You've done
And
it.
then yeah, we still need
Still
it to be
question
optional.
mark.
Yeah.
Great.
So now another one.
Mm.
And another one. Yeah, nice.
Great.
Just looking at the wrong profile.
Who's the best dev? The developer advocate. I advocate for myself being the best developer. Cool. So yeah, sorry. What did we need to test?
We've tested it. It's done.
tested
It
it.
works.
Done.
We will call it
100%.
good, even though it's
Yeah.
not the best. But it works. Tyler
Okay,
says
so-
we've got to go fast, so we're
Okay.
going fast.
So what
Looks
if we
like
just
it's
add
working,
like? What if we add? We don't want to spend too long on the UI of it. I was thinking like being able to search and have a drop down where we can select users that we could add.
That's something we never talked about, right? What kind of UI is gonna be when we add a new user to a room. So
We're going to need to
Yeah.
build some UI. There's no way around it. We can just use a pre-built component. I think for like the drop down there, like a checkbox toggle thing. Who knows what they're called?
I like it. Should we just quickly have the ability to change the name of a chat while we're here? Because this is a big, like, should this just say like untitled or something if we don't have a name, and then we can never mind. All right, what are we working on?
You
Should
can
we do
work on that if you.
Yeah, we can do that.
We've got so many little things to fix. Sorry, Tyler, we're never getting to Flutter.
I gave
I hope
up.
the chat really likes Next.js content because we'll be on it for
Tyler's just
a few
accepted
months.
it.
Yep.
And Jonathan is saying, how did it become a thing to omit semicolons? Man, that totally went past me. Next does it as well, I think. I mean, they're optional in JavaScript for most stuff. You do need them when you're doing some things. But most of the time you can get away with not doing it. The thing that I do is I just let Prettier make my decisions now. I don't make decisions about this stuff. And so I think when I write it, yeah, right. So it's like when I write it, I don't write it with semicolons just because efficiency wise, if I don't have to type the extra character, then I just won't. But then if the Prettier config, like if this was set to say semi-true, then every time I save it, in fact, I can just show you. If we do true and then I save here, it's going to add semicolons to everywhere. And so, I mean, I just accept that if that's what was in the Prettier config for the project that I was working on. But since we've just used create next app for this, the default is just to have semicolons false. And so, yeah, that's removing them. So usually if it's, I just go with whatever Prettier says is right for the project that I'm currently looking at, because I don't want to waste the mental overhead thinking about that stuff. Especially if I'm jumping across so many projects, like working with different people. It's just much easier. Just go with the flow. We've got one more here. Looking for the day that we use some svelte in here, and would be a cool change of pace.
Well, all I can say is you should have been here for the first episode, because we did a very scientific poll where we said, what do we want to use to build this? And next won by like one vote, I seem to remember.
It was neck to neck, wasn't it?
It
against
was actually,
Remix,
yeah.
though,
We almost,
Oh,
yeah,
it was
it almost
Remix.
tipped over to do Remix because we were getting like 1-for-1, and then Remix started to tip over one side, and then all of a sudden we said we're going to build a Remix application, and then just got slammed in the chat by Next.js people. So, yeah, that's why it's a Next.js app. But yeah, we should. It would be cool to build some Svelte stuff. I haven't got much experience with Svelte. I don't know about you two, but
very minimal.
one of our other developer advocates, Andrew Smith, also known as SilentWorks,
Also
in
known as
Discord
super
and
tall guy.
Twitter, super tall, our basketball superstar at Supabase.
Same height as LeBron James. That's really shocked me.
He is incredibly good with Svelte
Svelte.
and SvelteKit. So, yeah, I recommend checking out his content on Svelte, and maybe we can twist his arm. Actually, we are. Yeah, I don't know if we can announce it on the stream, but we are thinking about doing another happy hour stream for the other side of the world, just building a completely different example. And so maybe Andrew might start something like that at some point, which I think would probably focus pretty heavily on SvelteKit content. So yeah, hopefully soon.
That'll be lovely.
Do you guys keep your types snake cased usually? So again, I'll say mine, and then you guys say what you prefer. I again, like on theme with what I said on the last one, I kind of just go with the flow. So if I'm doing any kind of Postgres stuff or anything SQL like, or on back end side of things, it's usually snake case, and so I just write things in snake case. And then on the front end, if I'm trying to dig into something that the back end has given to me, then I know that it's going to be snake case. And if I if I'm declaring a new variable or something like that in the front end, then I will use camel case, because that's just kind of conventional. What about you two?
Pretty much
You
the
go,
same.
Tyler.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Whenever I'm interacting with Postgres, I usually go with snake case. But I'm really interested in what Sergey, sorry, is saying. You can transform them automatically with Typescript. Is this something you know, Alaister?
The only way I know how to transform them is in your select clause when you alias them to something else with the colon. I think we did that on one of the streams, but I'm not sure how you do it automatically with TypeScript, because TypeScript is usually only on the type side of things, not actually transforming your real values. So maybe it's a package or something, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think one of the companies that I worked for that had a Rails backend and a React front end, the React devs desperately wanted everything to be camel case, and the backend devs desperately wanted everything to be snake case, and there was no agreeing in the middle. And so we ran everything through a library that converted it for us. So anytime you were making a request to the API, even though the columns were specified in snake case in the database, in the front end you would get them as camel case. So yeah, you can set up some tooling to take care of that for you, but just go with the flow. Just
yeah, I feel like it's one of those controversial tabs versus spaces or something, or semicolon versus no semicolon arguments. Like, yeah, some of my projects have camel, some are snake case. So who knows? I don't.
Taking all of that out of it, like what do you both prefer? Like what's your preferred convention? We can talk about this instead of getting into Flutter app.
Yeah, Tyler's already accepted that it's not happening.
So in Dart, you usually go with lower camel for properties and then upper camel for like class names or type names. So I usually prefer camel case. But yeah, so that's why I'm really interested in what Sergey is going to write up for me in Supabase discussion. Example, if you could highlight that comment, Jon.
Oh, sorry.
I'll add a Supabase discussion. The example, yeah. Please do. Yeah, I'm really interested in. If I like it, you might get a swag. So don't forget to DM me if once you are done writing that up. I'm really interested in this. I do prefer camel case, but yeah. What about you, Alaister?
Yeah, it's mainly what language I'm writing. So if I'm writing JavaScript, if I've got a choice, camel case. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm writing Elixir or something like that. I think snake case is the convention. But if I'm writing Postgres, it's snake case because that's the convention. So I guess that's what's happening here. Is it's kind of the Postgres convention is bleeding out into our front end, but you can absolutely use aliases in your select statements to rename them to whatever you like, be that a simple rename to camel case or calling it something completely different.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Should we get back to it?
Let's get back to it.
All right. So we have what do we want to work on first?
I wanted you to delete that console log because otherwise we won't be able to see anything
we'll
we're doing.
constantly be reminded how inefficiently our application is constantly rendering.
Yeah, if you wanted to, I'll leave it as an exercise to the reader, but you could make it a bit more efficient by bringing out the data fetching for the profile into a single function, because at the moment, if the same person sends 2 messages at once and they're not in the cache, it will send off 2 requests. So there is some optimization around that. But anyway, we're going fast. Back to going fast. We're
coming so fast.
We could go. Oh yeah.
What are
Speaking of going fast,
features I only get when hosting with Supabase Cloud? So yeah, when you create a hosted Supabase instance, we host everything for you. So you get an Elixir server that's pumping out WebSocket events for real time. You get a Postgres database, obviously. You get authentication and all of those bits and pieces. Do you mean as opposed to running it locally yourself?
I think so.
Yeah, because if the question is like, what do you get differently for local development versus a hosted Supabase instance? I don't think there's.
What about storage bucket? That's the only thing that comes to my mind. Don't you have to hook up? Or okay, maybe it's different when you're developing locally, but when you're trying to do like a self-hosted version of Supabase, don't you have to get your own storage bucket and hook it up by yourself instead of like everything?
Well, I think that's just, it goes back to the whole configuration thing. I think the main thing you get with Supabase Cloud is that we manage all of it for you. Like it's not easy, especially when you got all the different features that we offer to, or it's non-trivial to say the least, I should say, to host your own app. But that's what we're giving you, is just a super smooth experience.
Yeah. And I think I was saying last time that you can get a Docker container, but that's not what you should host, right? Then
I think there is a guide on the site to self-hosting for those that do want to go that route.
Sweet. Hopefully that answered your question. All right, moving quickly. What were we doing? Do we want to do the rename or do we want to add someone to a channel?
Tyler,
let's add someone. Let's add someone. That sounds more fun.
How about we just make it a dumb thing? So we just do, how about we just have an input and we can copy and paste a user ID and then we'll just manually go and get it from the database.
I love that.
Yeah, that's super simple.
Yeah,
that's actually a really good one.
Maybe we can do some work in between streams, maybe just building a quick little drop-down UI. Or do you know something that we could do quickly to...
I mean, we could use like React Select or whatever, but then we'd have to, there's all extra steps that we have to grab a list of users and then, get it in the right format and load it up. So it's much easier if we just, invite.
I actually like that. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So in our header here, which is coming to us from, where is that? That's here.
Yep.
So
you can wrap it in a div or something.
Messages. So yeah, this one we put in a div. And then at the end of this, we want to have an input. Oh, we've got a capital I input. Right.
Ooh.
That's coming to us from Supabase UI. So yeah, let's just reuse one of those and we'll say that the type is going to be text and the name is going to be invite.
I don't think a name really matters on this one because we're not using a form. Although we could use a form, but we want it on enter, so let's not use a form.
Cool. And then are you saying we would just do on enter?
I don't think there is an on enter.
I was wondering if you
just on key press. or something like that. Key press.
On change. That's the one.
I think you don't get the. Yeah, I think on key press is what you want for the enter use case where you're listening for enter.
Sure. We want to handle invite. What am I doing?
What are you doing,
What
Jon?
is this? What is this? Put that in there. All right. Console.log e.target.
No, in this case, you just want to do e.key equals enter. So we want to check with a capital E enter, actually. So we want to check that they're pressing enter before we do anything.
We'll tell them that they pressed enter.
Sweet.
You are a event.
You are a keyboard event of type HTML input element.
Beautiful.
You might have to import keyboard event from React. Is not generic. Is it imported from React?
Oops.
Can you scroll to the top and see if it's imported from React? No, you need to import it from React.
Wait, why is this one working?
Because that's a form event.
But do we need a React dot keyboard?
You can either import it or do a React dot. But seeing as we're doing React dot, let's stick with it.
Cool.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
And you might want to move the classes around a bit to so it goes in the make it like flex and justify between. And BG, move the BG and the padding up there.
Well, let's have a look. So it's underneath. So yeah, we want this to be. Oh wait, this one. So we want this to be flex. So they're next to each other, and then you're saying space between.
Justify between.
Justify between.
And then yeah, also moves the BG green from the heading and the padding from the heading up to that element.
And the margin?
Yeah, get it all. There is no margin, but get it up there.
All right.
Sweet.
Lovely.
And cool.
How does it look? You might need an item center on. Oh, that looks pretty good.
It looks good.
Yeah. I'm happy with that as a first.
We can call it good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough. And does the console log happen when you hit enter?
Press it, Jon.
I pressed it.
Oh yeah, yeah, you did.
Thank you, Happy Chat.
So happy, so chatty.
It is the happiest and the chattiest. Okay, so all right, so we did press enter. So now here we would want to insert that person into the room, right? So we'd want to say await Supabase.from our room. Is it room
participants?
Room underscore participants. We want to insert our profile.
I think we'll need one step before we'll need to look up the profile ID by the user name. So we'll do, and then, well, I don't know if I want to do it right in there, but above.
Const user ID equals
still in the enter, right? We want to do it all at once.
Right. Supabase.auth.
Well, we need to look this up, so it'll be from profiles in this case. And then we can just match on the.
From our wait.
So the flow is we're going to type in a username, and then we'll look up that username on the profiles table. if we get a user back, we'll then insert that into the
Ah,
room
yeah, of course. For some reason, I was thinking we were inserting the current user into.
We do that for you.
They're definitely already there. Okay. So we'll just say const data equals await Supabase dot from profiles. We want to select the ID matching on I guess what's coming in from there. So how would we access what's in the input? I guess we need to make it
still
the controlled input.
Oh, I think you might be able to do e.target.value. Maybe let's do another cheeky console log in the enter.
Right. Like a cheeky console log.
Current target even.
Whatever.
Scary stuff.
Although this will happen on every.
That'll be fine.
Every key press, we should get something, and then when we press enter,
beautiful.
We commented out the enter.
So
that's working.
Yeah.
Cool. So this one. We want to match where the ID. Wait.
Username. Profile? No, is it? Oh, username. Right.
Username.
Oh, we're gonna be giving them. We're not gonna make them dump in a scary string. All right, that's a better idea. So where
if we had the user ID, we wouldn't need to look up the.
That's
value,
what I was
right?
thinking. I thought you were some kind of madman, but
no, I'm no madman.
This needs to be async. So we get back our data, and then if we have data.
Well, let's do if not data, and let's do one of our like return alerts that we like so much in our app, where we say no user found because it's the best UX.
Alert. No user found. I guess you could return this, couldn't you?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Both are fine.
Cool. Because this would just give you undefined, and then that's what we're returning anyway when we just do an empty return statement.
Yep.
Cool.
Beautiful.
So then if we did have data, then we want to insert into the room participants where the profile ID is set to data.id.
And we also need the room ID. Although we can do some TypeScript. I know I'm actually love it.
Would you like to do some TypeScript?
Well, let's fill in the room ID. We're here now.
All right. So we're going to get our room ID, which we already have as room ID. So that's the current room we're looking at. And then this was the TypeScript you wanted to add, right?
No, I wanted to add pass in the profile type. Let's grab the ID and the username to satisfy it.
All right.
And we need a .single as well. As Bartek is pointing out in the comments, I think.
Single data is multiple profiles.
Oh yeah, he's on it.
Should we get one? Yes, we should get one.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm taking away your points now. Bartek beat you to it. And then also in the Supabase.from profiles, you can pass in our profile type if you like.
Oh yeah, lovely. TypeScript
so we need
everywhere.
To pass that in. So should we declare that outside of our?
No, we can just export it from our messages component. That's fine in this case.
Okay. And then here we want to say import.
You've already got an import from the messages, so just comma profile, right? Line 4, yeah.
Sweet.
Where were we? Okay, so now we have our profile.
And really, we should be selecting the username as well, just to satisfy our profile type, because in TypeScript, even though we're not using it here, it's just my
And now TypeScript is making us overfetch data we don't need just to satisfy it. Not only are we writing extra characters we don't need to satisfy it, now we're actually fetching data over a network that we don't need.
Well, you could write a new type, but you know we got to go fast. Got to go fast.
We got to go fast.
Yep.
We got to go fast. All right, I'm happy with that. So from there we insert the profile ID and the room ID, and then I guess we should check whether we actually get an error back from that. And if we get an error, then we want to alert
Error.message again.
error.message.
Beautiful.
Are we going to do another alert to say it works? Because otherwise we're not. Or we can just clear the input if it works, right? That's great feedback.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we should probably just clear the input straight away so someone isn't like end. But
yeah, or we can. Yeah. We'll need to reference, because React is fun, the current target in a variable right under the if statement as just like const target equals e.target, because otherwise React throws the value away for like optimizations and stuff.
So then we would just use target here.
E.current target is what you want, not just dot target. This isn't an ad.
All right. And so then
I think just at the very end is fine, right after that, if error.
So if we don't have an error and we want to, can we just say like target.value?
I think maybe even target just .clear. Target.clear, is that a method? No, I'm too optimistic. I think target.value is the way to go.
Right. Target.value equals an empty string, or possibly one of these.
No, it equals an empty string.
We can see that because TypeScript isn't underlying everything in red, calling me a crazy person. So
then we have to
and you also
return
need
the
to
alert.
return.
We what?
I beat you to it, Alaister. Line 47.
Yeah. You points awarded back.
I'm gonna give you both swag. You both deserve it. All right, cool. That should work now. So now if we go and grab a username, so Alaister
like
is
Alaister. Well, maybe make a new chat room to test
That's
in,
right.
and
All right.
my username is literally just Alaister. And if you remember, cast your mind back to an earlier stream, you used Cytext, so you should be able to even put crazy capitalization and have it invite me to the room.
That's really nice.
So I have a new room. I want this to be yes.
Nice.
I got the spelling right.
Yeah.
Cool. And then if I press enter,
well, it cleared
clears
it,
the input, which means that we didn't get alerted anything. So
ping me that room
give
ID
you
and I'll see if I can get it.
Where did we go?
I don't know.
Here we go. All right. This is on localhost.
It doesn't
You
matter.
can't have this. You can't have localhost.
I'll just grab. I just want the ID.
Yeah, right. We've still got all of the sensible code up there, right? Can do this.
Here we go.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Copying the ID, pasting the ID.
Fingers crossed.
Oh,
we got some error in the console, but it looks like it's working.
Yeah, mine completely blew up. I'll be honest.
Yours blew up?
It's because of that error that we fixed earlier on. So
the
the username one, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So
but I'm allowed to see the room. So let's do call it a great success. Now try putting in a random username and see if it yells at you for being
getting rid of
angry.
Because
yeah.
that's from a previous one. But I was going to say it's actually really easy for us to just push this up. So why don't we just say
nice. And while that's doing that, yeah, try with an invalid username as well.
Oh, we need to put some keys on things. Anyway, we'll look at that in a sec. Doing what? Sorry?
Oh yeah, because we split out the. I just wanted you to type in an invalid username to the chat and try and.
Not there, but the upper one, right? Yeah.
No user
Nice.
found.
Great.
Thor again is
Working.
not found, but I
Beautiful.
think maybe I had Jon, and that worked. And so we didn't get an error. So that's added me in. And yeah, and I did that in all caps. So what you were saying before about doing weird
Wow.
characters, uppercase and lowercase, has worked as well. Awesome. And now
Nice.
Alaister is talking back to me. Cool. Okay,
I
so now
think the only thing we really need, I don't know if we can do it in the last 10 minutes, is that on the homepage, just list out your rooms, right? Because otherwise you'll have to send people to chat rooms. So
we can do this. We can do this, Jon.
we can definitely do this. We just got to type quick.
yeah.
All right, should we have a chat about TypeScript quickly? Why is it all red?
Oh my
All right, we're doing it quickly. So when we land on the homepage, we want to make a request. Do you know, were we doing any server-side stuff in any of these?
No,
I don't remember.
no, sir. We're pure client side.
All right, that's definitely longer, but we can do that. We can say
Cons.
not writing SQL, everybody, just writing JavaScript or React. We want our rooms and set rooms to be equal to use state, and this can be an empty array. Actually, we'll make it null. And then we want a use effect. Ooh. I'm trying to go too quickly. It's not working.
I think we'll get when we're doing Flutter, Tyler's going to be in there on the live share.
I think. Oh yeah, definitely. Because yeah, if we're doing Flutter, you're going to have to be like, type this character, and now type this character, and no, not that bracket, the other bracket. Yeah, I think it'll be very frustrating for people. So yeah, we'll definitely do a share for that one. So we want to get back our data from calling await Supabase dot from rooms dot select star, and then because of our policies, will this just give us back our rooms that we're participants in?
Maybe actually let's just take a quick peek at the policy to remind ourselves of what we did put in there. I think it will, but it will be good to see.
It seems sensible. How sensible were we on that day?
Let's see. Rooms. Can view rooms that you're participating in. That sounds
Cool.
like what we want.
Yeah.
That's
so only if you're
so
a room
lovely.
participant will it show up in this list. So this is a really good example for anyone watching who's not super familiar with like the benefits of RLS. We've written this policy in our database, and now only users who are in rooms, users can only select rooms that they are a part of. So if we say, give me all of the rooms from Supabase, we don't need to write a bunch of logic here in our application to say, only give us the rooms that we're actually in. We can just say, well, just give us all the rooms. And the RLS policy is going to enforce that we're only seeing the rooms that we're actually a participant in. So it can massively clean up our application logic, but it can also make our application much more secure, because we definitely would have forgotten to do this. We probably would have just selected all of the rooms and been like, yeah, let's just render out all of them. It's a big no-no. All right, and then we want to, I guess, if we have data.
But this is probably my favorite feature out of all entire Postgres. So Supabase is great. Like rollover security functioning essentially is a filter.
It's like appending like a where clause onto every single request that you make to Supabase without having to remember to append that where clause every single time.
I think you've got to import use state as well.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
Tyler's going to say control dot.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, do you want to add a room type after the from?
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
And we need to. Oh, it's right there. Beautiful.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
So it's still not happy though. Is not assignable.
We need to in the use state. We need to do that as well. No, as in with the square brackets. And then you need to make that an array as well. So room and then square brackets. Nice. TypeScript is happy. We've appeased the TypeScript gods.
So now we just need to render
Display
it
it
out, but
somehow,
we don't have as nice a layout as this page, do we? What did we do in this one? For our
just copy the main HTML element, I reckon.
And
maybe that is the same.
Yeah,
it's the same. So we can just put it right under the header as like a div.
Have we shown the room list? I think yeah.
Oh, it's because all of this is in the H1. Okay, that's the bit that was confusing me. So yeah, we just want to rooms.
Probably should fix this as well, huh? At some point, but
well, let's whack it in a div and just make it flex 1 so it's nice and tall,
Yeah.
and then we can choose a nice color again.
Yeah,
Or the same pink.
Definitely the same pink. It's an iconic pink. Flex 1 and BG pink. Let's go with 200. And then we want to map over each of our rooms, and for each of our rooms, we probably want a div. And so it doesn't yell at us later, we need to find the other one where we didn't do this, but we need a room.id as our key.
And then you can do like room.title, and then you can do the link. Yeah, link is a good shout. But you can use your double question mark again for the untitled rooms.
Right.
Double question mark for the untitled rooms? Oh, you mean when I do, right.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to say href equals this / rooms / our room.id. And then in here, we're going to say if we have a...
We need a tag.
Yes. Thank you, Tyler. Paying attention as usual. We need a room.name. And then if we have that, then that. Otherwise, it will be untitled.
We need it.
And I don't actually need to do this. We're doing. All right. Now we've got all of our different rooms. I'm just going to put a little bit of, not there, up here. Just going to put a little bit of padding. And yeah, we can fix up what these look like later. We could do...
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about the styling for now, but maybe just let's add a quick order clause to our Supabase query. So, because if we got a bunch of untitled rooms, I'd like the newest room to be on top, just so I can click that.
Idea. So up here where we are fetching these, we can say .order, and that takes a column. Whoa. A column that we want to order by. So in this case, created_at, and then we want to set ascending to be false.
Nice.
Cool. And now we have them in reverse chronological order. And then if we click on one of these, we can go to the chat that was Alaister and I. We probably want this just to add, while we're here, a little bit of nice UX to navigating around our application. We can wrap our H1 also in a link, which has an A tag, which then has...
You're going to have... Yeah, you're going to have to move the other link inside, because otherwise you have a link in a link.
Yeah.
I think I yelled at you when you put the link inside the H1. I was getting freaked out. And the button as well. So maybe just leave the H. We can just leave it'll take too long. Let's just leave it in the H1 for now and wrap the happy chat text within the H1 right above the button.
It's genius.
In that link.
Look at that. Look at that. Solutions. And then we just put happy chat in the A, and we give the link a href, and we write it in the most confusing way possible. And then we just press Command S, and it actually looks nice.
You'll have to add that link onto the other pages as well.
Oh yeah,
well,
we
to
should
one other page, because otherwise you'll be going home on the home page.
Yeah. What have I done here? This needs to go up here, and again, make it really confusing, and then just save. And we need to bring in link from next/link.
Nice.
Whoa. No, still not happy. Has no exported link.
It's TypeScript restarting. No, it's fine. It's fine. TypeScript was just wrong. You were right. Get rid of the squigglies. Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
You can, yeah, see, it's freaking out. Your computer's run out of something.
I broke it.
There you go. It got there in the end.
All right. So now if I navigate back to here, I can click onto
sweet.
a different room, and I can navigate back to here, and I can click onto a different room.
Wow.
And then happy room, I think was what was our classic room? Oh yeah, there it is. Classic room is there, which has all of our people in it. And so I can probably remove this join the classic room now that we can see it, because everyone will be in that room, right?
Yep.
So join the classic room. We can just get rid of this entirely.
You also want to change the happy chat text on the room page. So if we go into a room page, yeah, that one.
Change this to the title of the actual message. I like that. I like that. Or sorry, the room, not the message. So here.
I think you're correct. Yeah.
Well, that's the page title, but
yeah, we can also do that. But yeah, down there.
So we want this to be our room.
Wait, we don't have rooms.
We only have a room.
Okay, forget it. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah. What time is it? Oh, it's past time. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll look at doing that later.
The last thing I did want to change is putting a key in our messages component on our message component. That was confusing.
This one. No.
The last one.
This one, we want a key to be equal to our message.id.
We've made TypeScript happy on the stream, and now we've made
React happy as well.
React happy, yeah.
Perfect.
Nice.
Awesome. And now we've got like a slightly more usable application, and we're still not going to move on to Flutter next week because we've still got a little bit more we want to implement.
Some cleanups, yeah.
I
think stuff, right?
We could move on to the auth flows. Maybe we should just spend one more week and we can say like with confidence this time, next week will be the last week on Next, and then after that we can go to Flutter.
And maybe we can also ask if the chat has any other like fun little things that we could quickly implement if we have some extra time.
No, we won't have extra time. We don't have the scopes.
Again, I've got that confidence that it's like, oh yeah, we can implement auth flows. That'll take like the first 10 minutes.
Do you want to quickly push though once again so we can?
Yes, I know how to.
I'm glad to know every single developers think like me. That's how exactly I think about. That's how exactly I tackle every single project that I work on. Yeah, I got time. I can implement all this in like a week or two.
I don't know if the first deploy went up. Oh no, it did go up. Yeah, the input's there. I just wasn't refreshing.
So now, if anyone in the chat, this hasn't fully refreshed yet, but I'm sure will very soon. I will post a link in the comments there.
And type your happy chat in the YouTube. Your happy chat username in the YouTube comments if you're still with us, and John will add you to a Stream 6 room.
That's an excellent idea. All right, so we will create a new room, and then this room, if we come over to Supabase itself and find the last room we created.
I just copy the ID out of the URL. Way easier.
What am I doing?
No, you're doing it. You're doing it. But we don't show we only show it on the.
And then where's my filter? Filter for.
I was just going to go Command F in the browser. We don't have that many rooms.
What's happened?
Wow, you've remapped your Command F. That's or maybe not.
All right. Week 6. So now if we come back to the live version of our application and come back out into this room, we see a 404 because that's not a route. And then if we go to week 6, this is this one, and we have no user IDs.
No user. It's all right. You can add
fine.
me and Tyler. We can talk amongst ourselves.
Oh yeah, we need oh, look at that.
I'm actually Tyler too. Yeah, Tyler. I lost the password for Tyler, so he's gone. Yeah, I created Tyler too.
Love it. Cool. So we can now chat.
Chatting.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we got Tyler. Look at that. That's amazing. The whole system end to end works.
Great.
Cool. So yeah. In the next one, we'll probably just do some final tidying up and making this maybe like adding some placeholder text for like enter a username.
And we'll also show you who is in the room, because that's how we can like do a private chat type thing, and then we can have it like add people, that sort of thing.
Are you really gonna do that, or?
Well,
sounded like a lot.
Sorry, Tyler.
It's not hard just to print out a list of people, right? That's not too big of a deal.
That's not too big a deal. Yeah, that's not too hard. It should be done in an hour or two, right?
Yeah, just 10 minutes. Why take an hour?
Yeah.
All right. I think that is it from us. Quick plugs. We forgot to do this at the start. Well, firstly, check out Supabase, because Supabase is awesome, and hopefully you've been enjoying what we've been building here. Replit, in the last video, we mentioned that they have launched this Replit Ventures Builder Kit. And so partnering with a whole bunch of people like Supabase and Stripe and a whole bunch of other cool companies, they are basically giving you a $10,000 grant, 10 weeks of mentorship, and then expertise from guest speakers, including Y Combinator. And then each one of these sponsors is giving some kind of free thing. So this is a program that's designed for basically jump starting your startup and giving you everything that you need to build a successful product, and trying to kind of inspire the next generation of builders of cool stuff. So in the last video, we mentioned that it was a thing, but now it's a thing that you can actually apply for. So if you head over to blog.replit.com/rv1-builder-kit, which I'll chuck in the chat, if you head on over to this, then you will be able to apply. So if you have any applications you'd like to pitch an idea for, highly recommend you go and check that out. I also recommend you give us a follow on the Supabase YouTubes. Come and give us a subscribe and click that little notification bell, and then you will get notified when we're going live with things like this. Check out the Supabase Twitter. And you can click through to Discord or go to discord.supabase.com to join our Discord with a whole bunch of people who are building cool stuff with Supabase. And then I thought it was only fair that we actually plug ourselves, because again, we don't usually even intro ourselves. So we should probably plug, where you can go and follow us. And if we did say that's swaggable behavior, then you can come and follow us and then send us a DM so that you can get them swag codes. But yeah, come follow me at JonMyers_IO. Tyler, you're gonna have to give me the origin story of what this is.
Yeah. So Shukert in the middle is my last name. D is my father's first name. His name was Douglas. So it's Douglas Shukert Jr.
Awesome.
I'm not a junior. My first name is Tyler, which is different, but I love him so much that I decided to give it make it my handle name. So it's D Shukert Jr.
Awesome. So come follow Tyler. And then Alaister is Alaister Young. Alaister spelt like this, not Alaister spelt the way that I usually try and spell it.
How everyone usually tries and spells it.
And also, if you want to go check out the GitHub repo, we didn't actually shout this out before, but if you go to github.com/tjonmusters is my handle, and then /happy chat. Or if you just search happy chat on GitHub, you should be able to find that too. And I think that's it. Thanks heaps for watching. This has been fun.
Awesome.
We'll see
Awesome.
you for
Yeah, this was a
more.
great session.
We'll see you for even more Next.js content next week.
One more.
One more
Yeah,
Next.js
one more.
content.
If
We
it's,
just
if
have
it's
to
not
work out
done by the end of next week, we're just like, no, that's it. It's perfect.
We just have to work out a way to like subtly nudge another week every single week, but in like a believable way so that Tyler accepts it. And we'll slowly push it back.
That'd be
So
great.
I'm very excited to jump into some Flutter content. So we'll be doing that very soon.
Great.
But yeah, next week we'll be looking at finishing off, hopefully, our Next.js application. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.
Thanks for
Thanks,
coming,
everyone.
everyone. Have a good one. See you later.